So we completed the square with the getting started. We completed the square with the construct the understanding. And now we're going to look at graphing inequalities with parabolas. And the same as graphing lines. So if you wanted to graph y is greater than x squared plus x minus 12, well, first you would have to complete the square and graph x squared plus x minus 12. If it's a greater than sign, you'll have a dotted line. And with the greater than, you would be taking any point and shading above. So that's why this inside section is shaded. You could also use a test point. I love using 0, 0. If I plug in 0 for y and 0 for x is 0 bigger than negative 12, the answer is true. So that makes that section above the graph shaded in. If you are graphing y less than or equal, this time the equal sign there is there, so we have a solid line. And if you tried 0, 0, it would be false this time, which means the part below. And you can also tell below, because the y values have to be less than or equal, take any point and do y values less. That will go down, telling you you have to shade the spot underneath the graph or below the graph. So let's go to example 1. Example 1 is a nice one because you do not have to complete the square. Can you see that this is already in the right form because there's no other x? Our vertex would be 0 and negative 4. I can plug that point in and label. Does this one open up or down? It opens up. And the fact that there's a 3 there, you could use the shortcut of going over 1 up 3 to find another point. So I would have 1 comma negative 1 and negative 1 negative 1. And my parabola is opening up. Oh, I did what I always do. Do you see what I'm gonna. It's supposed to be a dotted line. I have to take out my eraser for just a minute. Here we go. Perfect. Fixed it up. It's a dotted line because it's just less than. So 2 things you could do when figuring out where you're going to shade. I see that it's y less than. If it's less than that parabola, that's going to be below. So I know that my shading is going to be below. From last year, they actually changed. Did I fix it? They changed the crayon a bit.
Not as satisfying as we
No, it was way more satisfying before. It seems less crayon, more electronic than it used to be.
So sad.
So because it's electronic, does that actually make it more realistic than it was when it was? I don't know.
Get rid of all the time.
If you did a test point and you tested 0, 0, if you plug in 0, is 0 less than negative 4? This point is false. So it makes sense that it is in the non-shaded area. When you do a test point, it'll either be true or false. If it's true, it should be in the shaded area. If it's false, it'll be in the non-shaded area. So when I checked 0, 0, it ended up being false. So it makes sense that my shaded area is the other part.
So, if this is supposed to kind of represent the same thing as just the number line, why do we do like the 2 different examples of it?
Well, the number line question was when you had this. You are solving an equation. What values of x make this true? The graphing question has an x and y, and our solution is what values of x and y together make it true. So before with the number line, we could use the parabola to kind of help us, but we were just looking at x values. Now with the graph, we're looking at two things, x's and y's, that make it true. Like you can always find, like every x makes it true, but it depends on what the y that goes with it is. So now our solution is points, and we can't actually write an interval, because how do you write all of those points? The best way to do it is to show a graph and shade in the points that are true. So the fact that I've shaded this in, it means that over here at 5, -4, I know that's in the shaded region. It means if I plug in 5 and -4, it will be true. I can double check that, and sure enough, 5 is less than 44. Yes. True. So that's the difference from what we were doing earlier when we were solving equations that were inequalities. And now we're having inequalities with x's and y's. The only way we can show it is graphically. Okay, questions you can circle are 4 to 7 and 10 and 11.